there and 28 of
can follow along. But hey, Joe, how's it going? We're live.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the weekly edition of 3HL Weekly. I'm Joe Tilling, along with Justin Fox, President, CEO, founder of the 3HL. How you doing, buddy?
Awesome. I'm live on TikTok, and we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So we're just kind of building this out. I actually just got access to TikTok Live last night.
Nice.
Don't use a lot of TikTok. I mean, I've used it a bit here and there, but I put a post out on Super Bowl on Sunday, and it's got almost 200,000 views with close to 8,000 or 9,000 likes, and it's gained a few hundred followers in just the past 2 days, basically.
Wow.
48 hours. So
that's awesome. That's pretty moving pretty quick.
Yeah,
things are happening on TikTok.
Yeah, I decided I was going to start to sort of document my process in everything that we're doing, right? So obviously the 3HL, 3-on-3 Professional Hockey League. But this is what I was saying, TikTok, we could probably get you as so the YouTube that we're on right now is Backers Network. If you want to go check it out, Backers Network. People on TikTok, you can go to Backers Network on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. You can go watch the live stream here that you guys are watching. But I was saying, if you get TikTok, I could also have you as a co-host on the TikTok live as well. So we could almost do like I don't know, would you call that like a simulcast or something along those lines? But
yeah, just a cast, and it's on various formats and
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So this is actually what I wanted to talk about today. I'm gonna throw you a bit of a loop here. So we were talking about potential players on the 3HL tour, and who that might be, right? And we've talked a little bit about it. You, myself, Bernie Nichols, for those watching, he's also part of the advisory board of the 3HL tour. The 3HL is a 3-on-3 professional hockey league. We're relaunching this fall, but just looking at some of the players that are on the Team Canada roster, and where they're at right now, outside of the Olympics, I think I sent you guys a message. I think this would be, a pretty cool list of guys if we could get them on one of the teams on the 3HL tour. You got some former NHLers, you got guys that are maybe up and coming NHLers, some of the younger guys that are playing the OHL, some AHL players, KHL players. I'm not familiar with the NL. Seems like it's some sort of Swedish maybe league, or HC Freiburg Gotteron.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's Swiss.
This is Swiss. Okay.
Yes.
And then you've obviously got the DEL, the Deutsche Elite League in Germany. So yeah, I got some DEL guys, KHL guys. Anyone stick out to you, Joe, that would be interesting for you to see come play on the 3HL tour?
Well, I think all the guys in Team Canada, when you talk about, they're playing on Olympic-sized ice, so they're used to playing on open ice, guys who have a little bit of speed and can get themselves open, and they're a pretty good team, as we saw against the Chinese, and the loss to the Americans wasn't great, but there's got a lot of good players there, and a lot of, really, we got a bottomless well in terms of talent to draw from. Really.
Yeah, definitely. So we're down to one guy, just you, Braden. Are you watching it on YouTube or LinkedIn as well? Let's see if Braden's going to jump on both sides here. So let's break this down. Who do you think? So you're looking at some of these guys. Let's jump into their profiles. Who do we got here? I was kind of going through them, but a guy like Corbin Knight, so 1990 puts him at what? 32. Plays in the KHL.
33 in September, yeah.
33 in September, right? Where has he played? Channel 1 Cup. Doesn't really give them a lot of. It's from where?
Not a lot of details there. No.
Yeah, no, not so much.
It's just recent stuff. Yeah, you'd have to go to
Let's see. You have to go to like Hockey DB or something like that to actually get some more info. But yeah, so
Ben Street's having a great tournament.
Ben Street, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. He's got what? 5 points? No, sorry, 3 points. I can't even read.
He had a big game today.
There you go, against China.
Yeah,
that was earlier this morning, right? How about Eric Stahl? There's a guy, Eric Stahl, right?
Right.
Former
38.
Yeah, so he's
37.
84. Yeah, so he's up. I mean,
38 in October.
Right? Who else do we got? Kent Johnson. So all those that are watching, obviously, kind of simulcasting here. We got myself live on TikTok, and then we've got we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Going live, talking a little bit about. So this is 3HL Weekly. So Joe, why don't you let's talk a little bit of what are your thoughts on what we've started to do, and where do you see it going?
Well,
some of our,
what I think it'd be let's give us a little bit of an update in terms of the owners that have come on board, some of the maybe towns across Ontario you've heard from, anything that any new information with regard to some owners that are coming on board, and communities that have shown an interest.
Yeah, so I mean, we actually just had a conversation with some people from Brampton the other day. So definitely some strong interest in Brampton to put a team there. I guess they just, and I wasn't aware of this actually, but the Beast have moved on to Laval apparently. So the ECHL team that was playing out of Brampton, so they've moved on. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get a team in Brampton representing Brampton. So there's some ownership interest there. Sault Ste. Marie, another strong ownership. So we've talked with Bernie Nichols, a few NHLers. Don't want to drop names necessarily at this moment, but some there's definitely some interest. Some former NHLers in a couple of cities. Barrie is another one. As I mentioned, Sault Ste. Marie. Kingston was another one that's kind of come up. So for those that are watching, first time watching, what is it? Long time listener, first time caller? No. We're talking about the 3HL. The 3HL is a 3-on-3 professional hockey league. Essentially, we are relaunching in the fall of 2022, and we're sort of talking to teams. Our goal is to get to 64 teams across Ontario that will be competing on a weekly basis, broadcast on Sportsnet. So this is kind of the first go. I'm live here on TikTok. Oh, he's watching. There you go. Braden's watching on TikTok and on YouTube. Hey, Braden, you're the viewer on both. There you go. Awesome. I see you got a hockey image of a hockey player in your photo. Is that you? Is that you on the in the photo? I would assume. Looks like number 10. You can comment on either TikTok or YouTube if you want.
So you talked earlier about launching in the fall.
Yeah,
Justin, what do you see as a progression here, like a natural progression? Where are we going to be in the fall as opposed to by the end of the year?
Yeah, so I think I'll put us back sort of where we're here. So basically, here's how it's going to work. So over the next sort of 6 months, we're going to onboard hopefully as many as 64 teams. As I said, Ari, myself, Bernie, we've got some things, working with Matt, yourself. We're going to be out building the, essentially the base of teams in the league. And then the season will start in September, but we'll have a few events in August. We're going to start hosting open tryouts, 3HL Thursday open tryouts at various locations throughout the summer. And then obviously, you sit on the board of advisors, right? So those who are watching on TikTok, I'm live here on YouTube as well, and and whatnot, some other channels. But with Joe Tilley, say hi, Joe. I want to say hi to the TikTok followers.
Hey, TikTok.
TikTok. So yeah, and then the commercial actually. So we had the advisory board meeting last week. We're going to be hosting or having a production of a commercial, like a sort of a teaser, whatever you want to call it. Production starting, I believe, in March, early March, so in about 2 weeks. So they're going to be doing a bunch of things. So stay tuned for that. But really, the ball is just to get the teams up and running. It's simply, if somebody wants to own and operate a 3-on-3 professional hockey team, connect with us. Sort of there's a lot of openings. We've got about 8 or so right now that are earmarked. I mentioned a couple of the names. Orangeville was another one. Collingwood's another one. I think there was at least one Toronto team and Oshawa as well. So there's, definitely some things that are happening as we move forward with the 3HL. And to you guys on TikTok, if you have any questions, be sure to ask. So I'm live streaming here. This is, I don't know. I'm just fooling around. It's like, yeah, overwhelming, right? The too many lives going on at once, but you're used to it.
Just
how does it?
Yeah,
and
no,
I also know.
you just focus on the task at hand. It's really easy to do. You just don't get sidetracked by all the other white noise.
Yeah.
So I think one important question to answer with two is like, how, first of all, if I get an interest in being an owner or just learning more about the league, what's the best way for me to do that?
The best way to become an owner on the 3HL Tour is to reach out to us. You can reach out to us at hockey@3hltour.com. Send us a message. Hit us up on, I guess, Twitter or any social platform, Facebook, 3HL Tour. So at 3HL Tour. YouTube, obviously, you can comment on here. But yeah, there's gonna be a whole process mapped out on the website. We're just in the process of kind of finalizing what that looks like. But essentially, people will be able to go in, become a team owner for their local community, and then go out and start, recruiting players, building up their organization, and essentially own and operate a professional hockey team on the 3HL Tour. And then the cool thing with the whole backers aspect is that, then they can actually go out. They'll be able to create their own security token, which is essentially a crypto stock. One token represents one stock or one share. They can go out, mint their own token that represents their team. So call it, Toronto Bees token. So could be BEES could be the ticker. They can sell that to Toronto hockey fans, raise capital, and each team will raise in year one a target of $300K per team, selling ownership in their local franchise to the local fans. So the fans will actually be the owners of these teams or part owners of these teams. So it's kind of a unique model. We call it fan controlled or fan owned and operated, where the fans will now be engaged and have the ability to actually participate in the ongoing development of their local professional hockey team. So exciting.
Okay, so there'll be an owner of each. There'll be an owner or ownership group for each community run franchise, and in addition to that, there will be a community aspect of the ownership. And is it going to be like a 50-50 thing? And how's it going to work? What percentage of the community will be in charge of the ownership?
So early on, there'll be a smaller portion of the ownership, but as it grows, obviously, I see it going to probably a 30-70, where 30% would be owned by sort of a smaller group of individuals, and then the larger majority of the team would be owned by the fans. But each team, it'll have varying degrees of how much fan ownership there is.
Yeah, so if I'm in a community that is looking to, I'm part of that community-based ownership group, and I've got a really strong voice, and I say, for example, you know what, guys, we got to get Mike Babcock to coach this team, and I start to get on social media and use my social media resources to drum up support for Mike Babcock coming to coach the Toronto Bees, for example. And then, all of a sudden, like there's a real big buzz, and all of a sudden, the ownership group gets wind of this, and it becomes a thing where, so you actually you might have a say in the hiring of Mike Babcock as coach of the Toronto Bees. I mean, it's kind of it's a unique to any sports that we kind of are used to. That's for sure. But there is a model for this. You want to talk about the fan controlled football league and how that operates and what's going on with them?
Yeah, so it'd be similar in that so there's sort of differentiation between the legal voting and sort of corporate rights versus where I think the fan controlled aspect would be more around some of the, not so much day to day, but the ongoing business of the team, whether it's potentially who the GM is, salaries, maybe team name, even as far as maybe, I wouldn't necessarily want to say who the players are necessarily, but definitely, voting on different aspects of the business. And the fact that it's all on the blockchain and it's essentially all tokenized assets. So now any of the holders, you can now start to allocate other rights to those token holders to allow them to participate in certain activities. We joke that it's not a video game, so you can't, they can't dictate the on ice play or as such, but you can definitely dictate who the coach is. A lot of the GM type of decisions can be partially, if not fully, influenced by the fans of each team.
What about the fans / owners coming to watch the 3-on-3 tryouts, 3HL tryouts?
Yeah, I think things like that where you get, you could get them all scouting and maybe putting in their take on what players or what teams should pick up which players, right? So it'd be kind of
this Smith kid, man. I'm watching him at the tryouts. This guy can fly and the moves. I mean, he's got moves like Zegras. I'm telling you, the guy's amazing.
That kid was amazing on the All-Star break, Zegras. That little sort of lacrosse move, kind of flipping, spinning around.
He's something else. He's good. He's really good. There'll be lots of that.
Oh yeah, just sort of the
league itself. Yeah, the league itself. It opens itself up to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. For those of you watching on TikTok, I'm live here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn with Joe Tilley. It's 3HL Weekly, talking about the 3HL Tour. It's coming back this fall. We're going to be launching. Where are the tryouts at? The tryouts will be at various locations, primarily across Ontario for this season. I just got a question from Braden on TikTok. But if you guys have questions, be sure to drop a comment on any of the other social channels. We're talking about 3HL Weekly here. Let me just see if I can. Where I think we'll probably have one in Guelph for sure. Probably in London, I would think. Yeah, anyone can try out. I mean, the level of play for players. I mean, this is one of the things that we always talk about, right, Joe? Is what level of player are we bringing in, right? And we're sort of just looking at the Team Canada roster. I think like every one of these guys should be on the 3HL Tour next season. If I had my way, every one of these guys on the Team Canada men's hockey roster would be playing on the 3HL Tour next season. So a lot of the owners, a lot of the questions they ask, is how are we going to get some of these players? And, to give you an idea of how I went about it last time, it sounds kind of guerrilla tactics, but literally, I guess it was summer of 2017. I sat at my dining room table and literally I made up the 12 teams with the names. I already had them all kind of made up, and the league obviously owned and operated them all. And I hosted a draft on Twitter, and I just went through names, so my criteria was guys that were not in the NHL currently, that had either played in the NHL and were at least only 1 year removed from playing pro anywhere. That was kind of my criteria. And I did a draft, and I'd post, round 1, first pick overall, the London Threes select. and I put their name and I tagged the player and their Twitter handle in the tweet. And I did that for about 140 players, or I think 150, 200 players across, 10 rounds, 12 teams, whatever it was. And I had about 50 or 60 guys go, pardon my French, but what the fuck was I just drafted to? And that started the conversation. As crazy as that sounds, that started the conversation. And probably about 20 or 30 of the guys that ended up playing in the league early on came from that draft and just built the conversation through. Those guys then went out and recruited their buddies, guys that they had played with. So all these guys, the Brett McLeans, the Theo Peckhams, the Charlie Stevens, Jason Williams, they had all been, played in the NHL, drafted. They played very high level in the OHL or DEL or overseas. And basically they went out and they brought in their players. So when we're talking to a lot of the owners or prospective owners for the 3HL tour, we're kind of, one of the questions they ask is, how do I get players? How am I going to go, especially if they're just a local businessman or women, or group, whatever, that, doesn't necessarily have the deep hockey connections. They often ask, how are they going to go out and recruit players? And I think, the recruiting part is easy. Once you get that one guy, that pillar kind of GM, coach, player coach, even, early on, you have your Reg Dunlop kind of player coaches. Once you get that guy, they're going to find their buddies because they're going to want to win. So they're going to go find the best players they can to compete. Right. And so I think if you've got on every team, you've got guys going out, dipping into their well of buddies that they've played with, you're going to find success. So
you listen, getting players is going to be absolute no-brainer. This is Canada. This is hockey. This is exactly. 3-on-3. I mean, guys who didn't get a sniff in a real reasonable shot in the NHL, but have incredible talent, and speed and puck handling skills and all the stuff that makes 3-on-3 so exciting. And all that stuff is good. There's going to be a whole bunch of a natural fit for a lot of people. So getting players is going to be a piece of cake.
So one of the questions here too is sort of the age limit. So, I mean, it's a professional hockey league. So the minimum age is 18. So you have to be 18 years old. We are looking at a 3JHL, which is sort of a 3-on-3 junior hockey, hockey league, probably do that maybe in the summer. Yeah. So we've sort of looked at something like that probably next summer. But yeah, it's a men's professional hockey league, the 3HL. For those sort of joining on TikTok, we're live over here on a few channels. But
there might be a couple of Gordie Howes out there.
What's that? Well, that's the other end of this.
There might be a couple of Gordie Howes out there.
Yeah, the 40.
There might be some 60-year-old guys who can still fly. I might put on the blades and see what I can do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Bernie and I have joked
go to the open tryouts. Right? Go to the open tryouts. Give it a shot.
I mean, that's all you can.
I always had that dream, and I never really pursued it. And now I got an opportunity. So here you go.
Exactly,
but so, that's I think that's anyway. That's pretty much I think the. Pretty much good for today's show. I think we pretty much covered a lot of ground there.
Yeah, no, it's
so
good.
For Justin Fox, the president, founder, 3HL. I'm Joe Tilley. We'll see you next time on 3HL Weekly.
Let's get our names there. Let me see if I can get them. There you go. There's our names. Justin Fox, Joe Tilley. Hey, Joe, thanks again for joining me. We'll see you guys. Everyone else, we'll see. We're going to do this weekly. I think we're going to get Ari and Bernie on next week. I'm going to start bringing on some of the existing owners, get them talking about their community and sort of building up the hype around some of the new communities and teams that are joining the tour. So the momentum's definitely rolling. So it's exciting times. Everyone else on TikTok. I'm going to end this broadcast here with Joe. Joe, are we done?